Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. I'm your host, Randy Sharman. With Halloween coming up, travel expert Onanta Forbes will join me in a few seconds to share some spooky travel ideas and spooky destinations to visit, not just to visit this time of year, but at any time through the year. And then travel writer and author Melissa Rodway is going to join us. Her latest book is called The People You Meet, Luxury, Leeches, Love, and Lau Lau, with a host of interesting characters in Southeast Asia. Yeah, I know it's a long title, but I'm sure we can all relate, as I think we can all recall someone who we've met while traveling and maybe even kept that relationship and made it a lifelong friendship. So it should be an interesting chat. But first, let's kick things off chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to discuss some of the travel news and travel trends. You can follow her adventures on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Hello, Onanta.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Halloween coming up. So we're going to talk about spooky stories, destinations, hotels, dark tourism. Let's talk about the concept of dark tourism. I know neither one of us are psychologists, but I always find it fascinating that people are so into haunted things, dark tourism, that sort of thing, and like to be scared.
I know. I can't believe people like to be scared. But dark tourism is another travel term that seems to have evolved over the years, and it refers to travel to places historically and culturally associated with death, tragedy, or just the spookiness of it all. So it could be about exploring sites where somber or eerie events have occurred, such as battlefields or haunted locations, prisons, or disaster zones. And it's not always tied to Halloween, but this season or the season of Halloween often sparks interest in it because it taps on into themes of fear or mortality and the supernatural. So, you know how it relates? It's like the atmosphere. So it's the curiosity about something mysterious, haunted, or tragic, making it more emotionally charged and atmospheric. And storytelling, because there's a lot of sites that offer guided tours with ghost stories, historical tragedies, or folklores that are attached to death, which aligns perfectly with Halloween storytelling. And then just while Halloween is like all about the candy and the parties and the costume, so the dark tourism invites people to look at human behavior, so like a deeper side of the season. And there's lots of places that you could go for to visit such destinations. Great for Halloween themed trips, but not necessary. And one I visited because I was totally interested in it was Salem in Massachusetts.
Oh,
Famous
cool.
for the Salem witch trials. It
Yeah.
offers haunted walking tours, witch museums, and Halloween festivals all October long. And it's a pretty town, but it's also, added to the fact of the history of it, was very interesting. Another one that I went on was in Edinburgh, known for its underground vaults, Greyfriars Kirkyard, ghost tours exploring centuries of plague and executions and hauntings. And it was really good because, when you arrive in Europe, like it's early in the day, so you got to figure out something to do. And it was just perfectly atmospheric because it was rainy and drizzly and foggy. Loved it. And here's one that I know it's on your bucket list, Transylvania, Romania.
Yes.
And that's the land of Dracula, where you can visit Bran Castle, associated with Vlad the Impaler. There's, great medieval villages. It all adds to the spooky ambiance. Another one, and not far from home, like in the U.S., is New Orleans. New Orleans is fun for many things, but it's also renowned for its voodoo culture, like haunted cemeteries. Louis Cemetery #1 and historic ghost tours in the French Quarter. And it's interesting because when you do go on a cemetery tour and experience or explore the voodoo culture, you see different offerings on different grave sites that are related, right, to voodoo culture, I guess, for the lack of a better word.
Hmm.
And yeah, so also in Japan, also really a hot spot this year to go and visit. There's a forest. It's a place of really natural beauty and quiet reflection, but it's also known as a suicide forest, and it's
I've
located
heard
at
of
the
that.
base. Yeah, the base of
Yeah.
Mount Fuji. And when we talk about different places, you have to think about planning for a trip to that place because you have to be respectful, and because many dark sites commemorate real suffering, so we have to treat them as memorials and not attractions, and to book early because a lot of these themed tours fill up fast because, as you said at the beginning of our conversation, there's lots of people that are interested in this sort of thing. Mix light and dark. So pair eerie explorations with cultural or nature activities to balance the emotional tone of your trip. And it's a good way to learn local legends. So understanding the folklore enhances the experience because you got to know about the history, right? Because that's why we travel. We want to know
Hmm.
about the destination.
Hmm. Exactly. Well, just getting back to the dark tourism thing, to me, there's like two types, and you touched on it too. Is there's the historic sites? I'm thinking of Auschwitz and Chernobyl, those places where actual events took place and real people died. And then there's like I call it the Hollywood type of dark tourism, and I wouldn't even maybe it's not even dark tourism, but where you want to get scared, but it's in a safe environment. Universal in Orlando has a great Halloween themed few nights that you can go and scare yourself sort of thing. And I would even put Transylvania in the Hollywood type because it's the Hollywood Dracula that makes the area of Transylvania famous, really, right? Otherwise it's just another castle. But those are the two types of things, and I remember hearing a psychologist talk about this, and it goes back to the whole feeling of being scared, but you're safe, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing's going to happen to you, you know, kind of thing. And I was looking at the Travel and Leisure magazine website, travelandleisure.com, and they have 13 scary places, and there was Virginia City is on their list, and I've been to Virginia City, and we did a tour of a place that was so-called haunted, and there's some really good spooky stories there of actual events and things like that. So that was one. And then Estes Park in Colorado is where the Stanley Hotel is. I haven't been to the Stanley Hotel, but I have interviewed people from the Stanley Hotel, and it's famous for the movie Shining, or The
Oh.
Shining. Yeah, so there's another Hollywood attachment there. And we were doing the interview, and right in the middle of the interview, his phone cuts out and just goes
Oh
dead.
no.
So I
So
had to
somebody's
get him
saying
back
that.
on the line, and it's like I think the ghosts were kind of listening in there. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a funny thing, but yeah, I there is this fascination for on the one side of the historic events that happened in back in time, and then and the sort of the fun parts where you go to Universal and see the monsters and the things like that.
Oh, yeah. You have to take it as it is. If you believe, you believe. That's the
Hmm.
thing. But it also gives you a wonderful opportunity to explore near and far. Interesting little tidbit was they were saying, like, Ireland is the makes sense to begin your dark tourism because it's widely regarded as the birthplace of Halloween, which I thought
Ah.
was quite interesting. And
Hmm.
just Halloween is is probably more of a North American tradition. But when we're talking about Dracula, Ireland is actually the homeland of Bram Stoker, whose early years inspired his creation of Dracula. So
Hmm.
all these little tidbits that come out. But you don't have to go far to go, to experience haunted and historic hotel experiences. You can go to Banff at the Banff Springs Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Close by in Calgary, there's historic Inglewood, filled with this heritage buildings and haunted pubs. You can go on self-guided and guided ghost tours to explore all the history about it. So
Mm-hmm.
in spirit. So you don't have to go far to get into things, and it's just fun. Yeah, keep it for fun. We
Well,
don't
yeah,
want to
and
spark any incidents.
well, this is true, and no matter where you live, I'm sure there's a haunted house or a haunted hotel or something to that effect that's nearby that you can go and explore. One other that came up on that travel and leisure list was the Queen Mary, which I would love to tour. A
Hmm.
fascination with ships and trains and that kind of thing, and I think that would be where you can actually stay. And another one that's not on this list that just popped in my head is the Lizzie Borden House, which
Mm.
I've interviewed people there too. And I don't know if you can stay overnight if you wanted to. I don't know if I'd want to do that. That's tempting fate to me.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. But yeah, like you say, if you believe, you might have fun at this. But yeah, proceed with caution.
Always, like it's a fun time to explore destinations, and the dark tourism thing is very fascinating all year round. Doesn't have to be Halloween, does it?
No, not at all. And as you say, Hollywood will inspire you for future trips somewhere because they're
Mm-hmm.
always coming out with something scary.
Mm-hmm. Onanta Forbes is a travel expert. You can follow her on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Good chatting, Onanta. Happy Halloween.
That's it. Get lots of candy.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me too with any questions you might have. My email address is randy at theinformedtraveler.org. And you can check out our social media pages too at facebook.com/informedtraveler, Instagram at Informed Traveler, or on X at Informed Traveler. That's where you'll find a number of videos and reels through our visits through the past year and posts from other adventures. Plus, you can now sign up for our monthly newsletter. It's released at the beginning of every month. Our October issue is available. Just go to our website, theinformedtraveler.org. Click on the newsletter button. It'll take you right there. Or better yet, you can subscribe to it and have it arrive in your inbox each month. Well, I think we can all recall someone we've met while traveling and maybe even kept that relationship going and made it into a lifelong friendship. It's one of the great things about travel. So joining us now to discuss that concept is Melissa Rodway. She is the host of Fly Travel Radio and author of her new book, The People You Meet, Luxury Leeches, Love, and Lao Lao, with a host of interesting characters in Southeast Asia. That is quite a title. Thanks for doing this, Melissa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Randy. Yes, a title indeed. And, tells you everything you need to know right there.
Well, we'll ask you about your book in a few seconds here, but I just want to learn more about Fly Travel Radio. Your website is flyrodway.com, where people can go on and find more about it. But tell me just a little bit about your website and Fly Travel Radio in general and how you got in this crazy business.
Yes. Yes, thanks for having me. And Fly Travel Radio was a radio show that I created and hosted, and I was a one-woman band there, so I did it all, as I'm sure you can relate. So I started that at a community radio station at the University of Toronto. I can't even remember when. I'm going to say maybe it was 2014 or something like that, 2013, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a show that I did where I interviewed people that participated in adventure travel. So it would be anything from, for example, a guy, his name is Mario Rigby. He is actually from Toronto, and spent like 2.5 years walking literally across Africa. Another guy I interviewed rode his bike home from China to Toronto, which also took 2 years. There would be a woman on there from England I interviewed a couple times. She recreates hikes and mainly hikes that women did back in 1800s, early 1900s that people wouldn't even know about. And she wears, like, she somehow manages to find the clothing that they would have had at that time of life, and there's no modern day equipment. So it was always people doing really amazing, interesting things. And of course, I also love to travel, but it was rarely about me. It was just about, what people were doing off the beaten path. So I did that for many, many years. I did over 180 episodes, and I loved it. I don't love all the behind the scenes work, as I'm sure you can relate. Meeting people is awesome, and just learning about stories, and people get into some really interesting things. So I did that for many years, and then I took a year off in 2023, and I did some traveling again. And then after that, after that, I decided to put this book out that we'll talk about later. That took me about 1.5 years to get it edited and out the door. So that's kind of my trajectory, that's what I've been doing for the last few years. And that leads us to being here today.
Nice. Well, the title of your book got me kind of thinking about all the interesting people that I've met in my journeys. And I suppose everyone can relate. I guess that's the fun part of travel, is the people that you meet, is it not?
I mean, I think truly it's the best part of travel. You'll always look back fondly of a place or a country or a situation, but I think it's the people that make it even that more special. I do, I travel with groups. I travel sometimes on my own, and I'm going to tell you that it's never when I'm alone am I like, wow, that was an amazing memory, like being totally I mean, there are moments in there, but for me, my fondest memories of travel is always when I think back about people I was with, or random people that came across my path, or the good laughs that you had, or amazing conversations, or bonding over like a hike, or, that's what makes or breaks it for me anyway. I think it's very common for most people, really.
I think so too. I think it's something we all do. I just don't think we sort of do it consciously. It's not like, okay, I'm going to set out and meet 10 people today or something to that effect, right? It's just sort of human nature, and I guess it varies to certain degrees of the people you meet and for how long you meet and the reason why you meet, right?
Totally. And I think the thing that I love about the people that you meet traveling is that I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, these are not people that you would normally probably hang out with in your regular everyday life. And I think that's the beauty of meeting people when you're away, is that all the sort of guardrails go down, and you're meeting people that share something that you share, which is also very uncommon in your regular life. You can sort of already step out onto a platform with these people that there's a connectivity there, right? Like, you don't have to explain about your passion for travel, or you can already start telling stories. I mean, I think any traveler knows in their regular life that nobody cares. Nobody wants to really hear about your trip. After 30 seconds, their eyes glaze over if they're not an adventurous person. So I think the beauty of being on the road is like you're with your people, and you can like instantly, head out and do whatever it is you have to do. It doesn't mean that you like everybody that you meet on the road, but you certainly have this thing in common that you just don't have with other people. And there's a real freedom in that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you don't necessarily have to be best buddies or become longtime friends. It could be for the period of the point in time that you're in a specific destination or there for a specific reason.
Totally. And I think, like, that's a good point. I think people have this vision that when you're traveling, everyone you meet is, there's just a romantic notion of travel. And it's like anywhere. Like, some people you like them, some people you're like, I am over this, and like, bye-bye. But I think, there's one thing about travel that I do think is worth mentioning. It's this, it's like you look out for people, you know, like I remember being on a few trips with people that, I don't think that I was like their biggest fan or they were mine,
Hmm.
but there's still a like, you know, a collective, like, let's, you know, everyone gets home safe or we're not, no
Yeah,
man gets
yeah,
left behind.
yeah.
And I think that's really a nice thing about travel too. Once you meet up with some people, and it doesn't matter, you know, you can have people you like or you don't like, but you're sort of looking after each other. And that's a beautiful thing about meeting strangers as well. I do
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah, it is certainly an interesting dynamic when you meet people out on the road, isn't it?
and yeah, you're all in the same boat, for lack of a better
Hmm.
term. Like, even if you're a little bit shy, the person you're with may not be shy, and maybe they'll instigate a conversation with you that you had you didn't think was going to happen.
Totally. And there's always something to talk about. I mean, if you've gone even on a couple of trips, right then and there, you have like a base conversation, you know, where have you been? Where are you going next? Where's your favorite part of the world? Blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
You know, they're easy conversations for the most part. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, you can meet some wildly crazy people on the road too that are just like, whoa, but
I suspect there might be one or two of those in your book. The title is
yeah.
The People You Meet, Luxury, Leeches, Love, and Lau Lau. I'm going to have to ask you what Lau Lau is, if I pronounce
Mm.
that correctly,
Yep.
with a host of interesting characters in Southeast Asia. Interesting is an interesting word because it doesn't necessarily mean that you may like them.
No, and if you read this book, you will find that I am a very honest person. So I will tell you exactly how I feel about the people that I met on this trip. Most of them I did like very much, but yes, you're going to always meet people that are different and unique. I mean, one of the characters in this book is a woman that I met in oh gosh, I can't even remember where I was. I think I was in Laos actually, and she was like much older. I think I was 35 at the time of this story. So I'm older now. And that's another part of the story where I'll get into how it came to be. But, anyways, I was 35 at the time and I was traveling with a partner. And we ran into like a few other people that sort of we created this little family for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people in this little family was like probably, I don't know, she was in her 60s, close to 70, traveling on her own. And right then and there, like it doesn't matter like if you click with them or not, any woman traveling by themselves at that age is a legend, right? And
Yeah.
she'd been on the road for a year, she'd been to India, she'd been to China, she'd been to really tough places to navigate. And then she hooked up with us for a little bit. So right then and there, you're like, okay, you're a legend. And I mean, I don't even know that I could even do that. But she was crazy for lack of, I know we're not supposed to, that's politically incorrect or that's not the way we talk anymore, but come on, it was 2010 and that's the words
It's
that we
okay,
were
you can
using
say
at the
crazy.
time. Yeah. And just like you had no idea if she was taking anything seriously. One minute she'd be like laughing hysterically. The next minute you'd have beautiful, like fabulous conversations with her. The next minute she'd be passed out from drinking too much rum. The next minute, like, you know, so yeah, people are just fascinating, right? Like, and whatever her story was, I don't think we ever got it as to how she ended up there and why she was there and whatever. But again, that was a really good example of somebody who drove me absolutely crazy, but you felt responsible a little bit for her, like to make sure that in our time with her, she was okay, she was getting back to her room, etc. And then, you know, when the time ends, you're like, all right, good luck to you. Like, see you
Yeah.
later. Carry on. I mean, she made it that far. So, but yeah, I mean, there's certainly some legends out there. I traveled in South America a couple of years ago, and there was a guy, I did that like Jeep tour through Bolivia, through the salt flats and the desert and all of that. And that is, I don't know if you've done that, but that is like tough slugging. It's the most beautiful scenery I'm sure I've ever seen, but it is not for the faint of heart. It's physically uncomfortable and it's a grueling like 3 or 4 days. And one of the guys that was in that was like this doctor from Australia. He was also like pushing 80 on his own. doing all of this, and another legend, right? And
Yeah.
so instantly you're like, oh my God, and you just feel this need to hang out with them. And he scared me a little bit. Like, I don't know if he knew what was going on half the time, and so you start feeling like you have to take responsibility for them a little bit, and that maybe that's on me.
Uh-huh.
So I find these connections with older people, it's like bittersweet, because it's like a little bit heartbreaking to watch them sometimes navigate certain things, but at the same time, you're like, good for you. You're out here. Like, a lot of 25-year-olds wouldn't have done what some of these
Hmm.
people are doing. So yeah, fascinating people. I mean, not everyone I travel with is old. Let me like make that clear. But sometimes those are the people that stick out, right? Like the people that
Hmm.
have, like, got a lot of miles on the old backpack.
Hmm. Well, your book is specific on one area, but it can really apply to anywhere you go, no matter what, right? It doesn't.
Oh
This isn't.
yeah.
This is more about the people, not necessarily about the destination.
Yeah, and this book, I mean, it's not all about the people. I mean, that's the title, because really when
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, these are the people, the situations, but certainly, of course, I mean, you can go anywhere. I did a canoe trip up in northern Ontario, and the people I met on that for like a 3 or 4 day venture, there's a few characters in there. I think, it takes a certain person to do these things. Like, not
Hmm.
everyone is watching Netflix and hanging out at home, although I have no problem doing that either. But there's people out there that want to have adventures and live their life differently,
Hmm.
and they come in all shapes and sizes, and that's the beauty of it. I remember being in Peru, and there was this woman there from England. I would never have been friends with her in regular life. There would have been no way that we probably would have even crossed paths. We had nothing in common. She was not at all an active person. I was super fit at that time, and I think, like, and not that that's the be all and end all, but there would have been no way. And then you get thrown into like a situation, and you're just like, you become so attached to some of these people that, again, would not be a part of your regular world. And I think there's
Hmm.
good lessons in that, right? Like, it does remind you to like let go of biases and judgment and all of these things. I think that's what we like about travel. Like, it's the people you meet, like, kind of reminds you of your vulnerability and
Hmm.
also of your authenticity. Like, I think when you're meeting people on the road, you can be a different person. Maybe your most authentic self. Maybe you're more authentic there
Yeah.
than you are at home. And
Yeah.
they bring out a side of you that you don't always tap into when you're in the grind at home, you
Hmm.
know?
For sure. It's funny you mentioned that. I was going to ask you that. Do you think the people you've met in your travels, you would actually strike up a conversation with or a friendship with in everyday life? And chances are no, because we're all just sort of staring at our phones and
Yeah.
in our own little world when we're back at home, and that's just the way life is. And you're right. Travel kind of opens up your whole character.
Totally. And I think the whole phone thing is interesting. I mean, I'm 50, so my first trips, like in my 20s, even in my early 30s, even this trip that I wrote about, I mean, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have GPS,
Hmm.
we didn't have anything. And there's pros and cons to all of that. I'm the first person to say that, having a GPS when you're lost in a town or a city or anywhere is a beautiful thing these days. But I do recall about 10 years ago being on a hiking trip, the Tour de Mont Blanc, which is amazing, and everyone should do that if they like to be outside. And we were in this, so that on that trip, you're hiking through France, Italy, and Switzerland in a circle there. And I remember one day being in a hut at lunchtime, like in Italy, eating the most beautiful food with the most incredible view,
Hmm.
and everyone around the table had their phones out, and they were like, and and to me, like,
Yeah.
that's the time to put your phone away. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing I still love about traveling, especially when you've met a cool group of people. It's like, put that phone away and like go back to grassroots here. And I don't know, that I just find that very sad. And it's also
Hmm.
like, yeah, like that was a group trip, and your days are limited with these people, and it's like, what, like, let's enjoy each other because we'll probably never see each other again. And like,
Exactly.
really, you're going to look at what's happening on Instagram? Like, give me a break. I struggle with that still to this day.
Well, and with that too, I think if you're going to bring your phone out, maybe you should just use it for language apps. So language isn't even a barrier anymore, because it isn't now. There are apps for that. And so if you're having, if you think, oh, I don't know the language of that person, and vice versa, that can be conquered too.
Totally. And that is a beautiful thing too. I mean, we take that for granted, right? I think when you're raised in an English speaking country, we're very privileged because a lot of the world speaks English, and you forget that that's not always the case. But wow, like what a development that is, when you can translate and communicate, especially in dicey situations. It's just like, whoa, where was this a million years ago for us?
Exactly. So what do you hope that people get out of your book after they've read it? Like inspiration to go to Southeast Asia, or just to, let your guard down and let people and just meet people? And
I think there's a lot of things. Like, this is a book where whether you're a traveler or not, you'll get something out of this. So I think if you love to travel, it will make you laugh because you'll be able to relate to a lot of the situations. I speak very, very candidly. I will even complain about, the things about travel that I don't like, which a lot of people who travel pretend that doesn't exist. But of course it does. Like, there's highs and lows to travel, and we all need to admit that. So there's a lot of that in this book. So yeah, if you're an adventurous person, you'll dig that part. And if you've been to that part of the world, it will make you laugh because it's very rich in description. And I know people who have lived in Thailand or in those places, and they are like, oh my goodness, I feel like I am right back to exactly where I was. So I think there's that. I think that it can be inspiring, and it doesn't have to be about travel. It could inspire you to like get out and have your own adventure, or to pursue something that you've always wanted to do and didn't have the guts to do. I think there's a bit of that in there. And certainly there's a lot of reflections about different people and how they come in and out of your life. And I think with that too, it's like you meet people sometimes that you feel like you've known them your whole entire life, and they can, for some reason or another, they cross your path, and it's just sort of like letting them in and recognizing that and going with that moment and enjoying it. But yeah, there's a lot in this book. It's funny. You'll feel like you're on the journey with me. So if you don't want to go to that part of the world, then I've done it for you. But yeah, I think there's, people read it really quickly. They love it. They say it's a page turner, and it's just, it's a good laugh. Like, to be honest, it's very, very funny. If I can say that, it's funny.
I have to ask, were the names changed of the people in the book to protect them?
90% of the names were changed. Yes. Yes. Not mine, but the other person, the main player in this, their name was changed. And most names were changed. Yeah.
What about a sequel now?
Yeah, people keep asking. And I do. I have a lot of stories. As I said, 2 years ago, I took a year off, and so I could easily write about all of that as well, but it's just time, selling this book is as much work as writing it. So if anyone is writing a book, let me tell you that once you're done, the work does not end. But yes, I would certainly love to. I love to write. I love to use my voice, and I do write in a style that makes people feel like they are right there with me. I'm talking directly to you. That's how my voice is. So yes, I would certainly love to write another one. I just need to carve out the time.
Nice. Well, the book is called The People You Meet, Luxury, Leeches, Love, and Laula, with a host of interesting characters in Southeast Asia. You can find it on Melissa's website, flyrodway.com, and Rodway is RODWAY.com. Melissa, it was a lot of fun chatting with you. I really appreciate your time.
You too, Randy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.